Hey, welcome back to Conversations Podcast. It's your boy Drew. Happy Thursday morning. And look, yesterday, the United Nations General Assembly voted to recognize the enslavement of African Americans during the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest crime against humanity. The resolution proposed by Ghana called for the designation while also urging UN members and states to consider apologizing, okay, just apologizing for the slave trade and contributing to reparations. Okay. Now, what I find interesting about this is I'm going to show you this chart. I want you guys to see it. You guys actually have to see this to actually believe this. Now, looking at the chart, okay, the ones with the plus sign are the ones who were in favor of reparations. Okay. The ones with the X were the ones who did not want to comment, did not want to even consider it. Now, the ones with the little minus sign next to it are the ones who said flat out no to it. Now, if you look closely, the ones with the X, these are all nations run by Europeans, all European nations, all of them. And the ones with the minus next to it, Argentina, Israel, and of course the United States were dead against it. They don't even want to issue an apology. They don't want to acknowledge that this was one of the gravest crimes in the history of all humanity. Yet, the same country, okay, over the years, have given restitution to pretty well almost everybody of Israel to this very day. It's a lot of money from American taxpayers, a lot of money, okay? It's crazy. Japan, they gave restitution to Japan as well. During the Obama administration, they allotted money for the Jews. Going back further than that, when slavery ended, can't make this up. The slave owners, not the slaves, the slave owners were issued restitution. The people who brutalized, murdered, raped, destroyed a whole group of people were given reparations. So let that sink in. I want y'all to take a good look at this list that's up here. Look at these countries. And if you're an African American and you consider traveling to any of these countries that are on this list with an X, you're at your mind. Those countries that signed off with the X are just as bad as the ones who were against it. They just were afraid of how it would look if they said no. Again, the boldest ones again is the United States and Israel and Argentina. And most people know the reputation of these three countries, not the greatest reputations. Anyway, look, I'm just a messenger. Don't be mad with me, but I'm telling you, this is exactly why the people of the world can't get anywhere. When you can't even acknowledge something like the African American slave trade, the transatlantic trade slave. You can't even acknowledge that was a bad thing. Well, I guess for most people in America, I guess it was a good thing because that's how this country was built, on the backs of slaves who were brutalized by these evil men. So does the so-called Constitution of America, does that really apply to us as African Americans? You have to think about it. Where were your ancestors when the Constitution was written? Oh, your ancestors were in bondage. Your ancestors were in bondage and being held by the same hypocritical European people who would try to fight for their own freedoms while enslaving others. Things got to change. We can't take a step forward until we grasp the understanding of right and wrong. Some people have no concept of right and wrong. The ideology that you can do what you want to anyone and get away with it, you can just destroy, attack, and take from, this bully mentality needs to stop. But take a look at them. Get them in your mind. Do not spend your money on these countries that X or minus on this list. They don't even think enough of African Americans or Black people to just vote yes, that it was brutal and cruel and is a crime. Apologies ain't the question for them. Meanwhile, you have organizations that the KKK, these other organizations running around, who've lynched people in the past, murdered. Every Black organization that I can think of that's come under scrutiny by the FBI and our government, I can't think of one, not one that was violent. Look at the Panthers, what they did with the Panthers. They were building the communities up. They weren't running out, lynching, murdering white people, anything like that. They weren't doing any of that. But yet, the government was dead set on destroying them. Why? Because they were giving the people something to look forward to. The Panthers looked out for people. And people forget even now, they're rising again, but not with violence. Black people by nature, you're not violent. You're not. You've been taught certain things. You've adapted certain ways. You got to get out of that. The only people, Black people, are harming on themselves. We got to stop. Again, take a good look at this and think what you mean to these people. Anyway, I'm the messenger. Don't get mad with me. Please subscribe, like, share. This is for everybody. Understand what's going on. There can be no healing until there can be an admission that something was done wrong. That's where it starts. And when you can't even admit wrong, that says a lot about you as a country and as a nation and as a people. I'm your boy Drew, and I am out. But please subscribe. Black Alert Radio, FTP. FTP is for the people, and that's all the people. Peace.